I was trying to wait, okay? I wanted to wait until after I had finished watching all three parts of the reunion for season 6 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. I was trying to wait because I wanted to have a fully informed perspective and just really, really be able to give a final statement on my feelings and on what I've seen and on how what I've seen has made me feel, okay? But unfortunately, NeNe Leakes, Phaedra Parks, um, you guys haven't given me that option. Okay, you have disgusted me so much. Uh, I've talked to you before about how I feel about NeNe and how I'm disgusted with her behavior and how much she's changed, but she has taken this to an entire new level of ignorance. Um, Last night, after the reunion part 2 aired, NeNe went to Instagram and Twitter posting screenshots, I guess, of text messages between her and Cynthia regarding their filming schedule, and pictures of them hanging out. And I guess what she was trying to do was allude to, a lie, uh, as if Cynthia had been disingenuous, I guess, in her forgiveness or whatever the fuck it was. She was trying to say that Cynthia was being fake and saying that she was mad now because it was good for television. Let's be very, very clear here, NeNe. And see, this is what you seem to forget. Okay, you have the gall and the audacity to speak up relevancy when it comes to Cynthia Bailey. See, the Real Housewives of Atlanta made you. You were created by this franchise and this machine by Bravo TV, Andy Cohen, and the geniuses over there at Bravo who found you and plucked you from the hood, okay, and brought you to the forefront so that we could laugh at you. Don't forget that's where all of this started. You are not famous for being talented. You are famous for providing a show and keeping us laughing, okay? Well, you're famous for allowing us to laugh at you. You're famous for becoming a cartoonishly, um, vibrant, big personality that we could sit up and look at and watch them throw you into situations and see how you react, okay? Almost like a pinball machine. That's why you're famous, okay? Now, with that, you've done some great things, and I guess, the shit that you've done was only great because we were happy for you, okay? Because we watched you literally start from the bottom, okay, and rise a little bit higher, and not even really rise higher, but just gain more notoriety, because that's really all that you've done, NeNe. You're not an award-winning actress, okay? You've never challenged yourself as a thespian, okay? You have not produced anything worthwhile and cemented anything into the history of our nation, something that is great and is going to teach future generations. You've done nothing but show your ass and make us laugh on television. That's who you are, that is all you are, and that is all you ever will be. And it used to be enough. See, when you were aware of that and when you were just being yourself, and there was no pretentious, there was no extra shit, we were okay with that. But now, what you've done is taken this and turned it into a false sense of entitlement, and you have the audacity to speak on relevance when it comes to someone like Cynthia Bailey. Okay, let's be clear. Cynthia Bailey was Cynthia Bailey, and then she was cast onto The Real Housewives. Cynthia Bailey is not famous for being a reality star, NeNe. Cynthia Bailey is famous for being a supermodel and walking catwalks all over the world because of her God-given gift of beauty, okay, and her capability to make us buy things because we like how they look on her. She can sell a product. That's a marketable skill, okay? And because of that notoriety and because of that fame, the Real Housewives of Atlanta said that they wanted a closer look into her day-to-day life, and they picked her. So the fact that you may say that she's begging for relevancy or fighting for a storyline, she is a storyline in and of herself. Can you say the same? Okay? All you have is the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's be clear and let's remind you of that. That is all you have. That is all you are. That is all you ever will be. And that is really all that we want from you. It was cool to see you do other things outside of that because it was shocking. Like, wow, they actually used her and took her from that to do something else that's normal. That's what made it cool. And that's why we were fascinated with it and happy for you. Okay? But you've ruined that with your sour mouth, with your horrible attitude, and with your generally fucked up and haughty disposition. Okay? And we are sick of it, we are tired of it, and we are tired of you. That brings me to Phaedra. Phaedra, you are stupid. You're dumber than Portia, who is definitely not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but you are dumber than her. And here's why. For someone who is credentialed, okay, for someone who is an attorney, okay, someone who sacrificed time and went to school to learn the law. I've never seen anyone as ditzy or as much of an airhead or who lacks as much common sense as you do. Okay? The moment that NeNe Leakes throws you a half of a bone, you take it and you lick up. You lick up right behind her. That's what you do. NeNe is not your friend, you fool. NeNe is not your friend. She's using you, okay, as an example of, oh, well, hey, Phaedra's dumb enough for me to use her right now and say that, we had issues, but we've cleaned up our situation, so we've forgiven it, and why can't you guys do the same? Just last year. Fuck last year. Just earlier this season, she was saying that you were famous in Athens for sucking dick. Okay? And you're a mother of two. Just had a newborn baby, going through a lot of personal crisis in your home. And she thought that that was okay. She also thought that it was sufficient to say, oh, yeah, I said that shit, but I called you and apologized, so we good now. You got to be all right with the fact that even though I said it, I called and apologized, so that's it. You are stupid. And you are stupid because you sat there on that couch and you allowed NeNe Leakes to roll you like some dice. Okay? The only people on that reunion who sufficiently, okay, asserted themselves against NeNe's bullshit were Kandi Burruss and Cynthia Bailey, because both of them have had it and they are not bothered or perturbed by NeNe and her antics or the threat of not having a closeness, which would be fake in nature, but a closeness with NeNe Leakes. They're not afraid of not having that. Phaedra, you are. Portia, you definitely are. And believe it or not, Kenya Moore, you are too. Yes, you are defending yourself per se, but in your confessionals, you are much, much more vivid and colorful in your rebuttals and much, much more poignant in your zingers and your one-liners and really calling out facts and getting to the point of what should be said to NeNe, but you never seem to say it to her face. And that's what the problem is. When you, Kenya, are in situations of verbal combat with NeNe Leakes, you retreat. Okay, and you almost act as if you're fearful to go ahead and let it out. Meanwhile, this bitch is calling out everything on you in your history, your pay rate. She even made light of the fact that Portia had just dragged you all the way across the damn floor and threatened you and saying, "Don't make me call Portia." Okay? That's how she is. And you all have allowed that instead of checking her, which is why I'm so glad once again that we had the wonderful, fantastic Marlo Hampton, who was on time and who was too much of a threat. Okay, and so they did not allow her to be at the reunion, which is where she should have been. She had a place at that reunion. Okay, because her input this season was critical to our viewership. We watched for Marlo. Marlo entertained us, and beyond that, Marlo is the person who is able to check NeNe like a yes or no box. Okay, and that's why we love Marlo Hampton. She should have been there. Okay, but Marlo, Cynthia, and Kandi are the only people who are able to effectively put NeNe in her place. You all have counted Cynthia out for quite some time, and I think that as you can see from this episode of the reunion, there's a fire starting. Something is burning there, and she's sick of NeNe's shit. Okay, and she's not going to kiss her ass to be her friend. And the thing that I love most about Cynthia and her approach and her way of handling this, clearly there are so many scathing details that Cynthia could expose. There are so many hurtful things that she could do or say to NeNe, but she never once did that. She's not going to go back and disrespect their history, okay, and go back and say horrible, mean things about her as if she never mattered. Cynthia's perspective is, you know what, this shit ain't work out, let's just move on, but leave me the fuck alone and respect me and mine. I applaud her for that, and I enjoy looking at her. She looked gorgeous on that couch. So that's what's going on with my thoughts on the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion. As far as the fight, hey, shit happens. I'm not necessarily on Portia's side, and I'm not necessarily on Kenya's side, but I do understand that when you decide to get that close to someone physically with a loud bullhorn and to call them a dumb hoe, that is one of the things that may be a reaction to that behavior. You just might get your ass whooped. Okay, depending on the day of the week, depending on the direction the wind is blowing, depending on the Wi-Fi signal, whatever. Like you just might get fucked up, and so I'm not surprised that it happened. And everybody feels like they have to make the disclaimer that they don't condone violence or whatever. We all grown, we all know what the law is, we all know how that works, but we also know that you don't fuck with people because you may end up getting fucked with. Worst. Okay, so that happens. Portia, to me though, is dumb because she lost her cool. Kenya is playing the game and she is playing y'all like the lottery. Okay, and she made you lose your cool, which is something that you should never do. You say what you want about Candy Burris, but Candy has maintained her cool in most scenarios until it comes to really just her mother. Okay, and situations that are involving her mother, because when Candy lost it at the pajama party, which was all NeNe's doing, but when she lost it because she was already so full of this energy that she had no proper release for because of the situation with her and her mom. So that's what that was about. But anyway, those are my thoughts. NeNe is disgusting to me, and I cannot believe it. Pains me, pains me, pains me, pains me. It pains me to say that I don't like her anymore, but I don't. Okay, and you want to talk about so nasty and so rude. What about that picture we just saw of Brent standing next to that SUV, and him and the SUV looked like they were the same circumference around the waist? Okay, that's what's so nasty and so rude. You had the gall and the audacity to talk shit to Cynthia about her parenting methods, and your son is clearly eating and laying down, and that's all he's doing. Okay, put him on a meal plan. Okay, encourage him to play some sports, get active, get out there. He's a smart boy, very smart, and none of that comes from you because he's doing a better job at living and being a communicator than you ever could, Lenethia. So, yeah, that's it. And I tried to wait until part 3, y'all, but I just couldn't. I